I never knew how important it was to use discernment until I met the covert narcissist. And neither did I think in a million years I would marry a DL man. And as the saying goes, there is a first time for everything. Now, before I begin, I would like to just note that this video isn't being done with ill intentions. At the end of the day, this is my experience and I do have the right to tell it. So, with that being said, here's my story. Okay, so I was fresh out of a DV relationship with an overt narcissist. Now, in this relationship, I was cut away from family and friends, all outside influences. It was just me and my inner, the people within the household. Anytime anyone came around, family, friends, he would make sure that he did things to just, show them directly that they weren't welcome. So I had began noticing this app that was on my phone. Mind you, I didn't have any type of social media in this particular relationship. And so one fine day I was just like, you know what, I need friends. I want other females that I can connect with and I can talk to. So I downloaded the app. I only want to connect with females, so I put on my profile women only, not realizing that people were using social media to connect in romantic relationships. So of course that was bringing me all the wrong type of connections. So I went in and I changed my profile to men only, okay? And so eventually I connected with these about 3 guys, and it kind of narrowed down to this one particular guy. Again, I wasn't on there to meet someone romantically. I was just wanting somebody to talk to. His profile said, looking for a serious relationship, someone not into games, someone who's ready to settle down. And, of course, I'm open to a relationship. Everything kind of moved quickly. He was like, I think we should move this offline. Can I get your number? And of course, why not? So we're talking day in and day out. He's telling me small things about his life. I'm very talkative. I'm telling him all about my day. He was the total opposite of the overt, where the overt wasn't really, talkative and wasn't listening. So of course this covert comes in like this knight in shining armor to save the day and completely sweeps me off of my feet. Now, he was located in Florida and I was here in Georgia. So he, visited a few times. Now, although while I'm talking to him on the phone, I noticed small things about him, the red flags. One of the main things was that he was very arrogant. He liked to say little slick things to try to demean me or devalue me. But, when you're coming out of a toxic, abusive relationship and someone comes in like the knight in shining armor, you're going to quickly fall for them because you don't know that you're looking for a savior. And so I fall for this guy. He moves to Georgia with me, and that's when all H breaks loose. This is when I find out all the things about him. And so again, this video is about falling for the DL man. And so one of the main things he started doing was he started telling me about stories about him being in school. And he loved to try to insert, negative things into my mind, but then he'll also take it back. So one thing he said was, the kids in school used to always tell him that they thought that he was on the DL, and so did the mother of his kids. So it sounded like he just had a track record in his hometown of being identified as this undercover person. And so it kind of made sense, why he wanted to relocate and come to a place where it was a clean slate, where no one knew him. But of course, I didn't have all that figured out in the beginning. And so as time progressed, he would just randomly say certain things like that to make me question his sexuality. And another time he was sitting in the dark and he made this confession and noted that he had had a sexual encounter with a male coworker. And so he waited until I responded, and then he was like, oh girl, I'm just playing. Oh, you always take everything I say so literal. And I'm thinking like, but what straight man does that? And also, why would you be sitting in the dark? To me, I'm very spiritual. So that's like a form of hiding. You're still in the closet. You're in a dark place to where I cannot see you face to face. And now you need to get this off of your chest. and make this confession, but you're noticing how I'm reacting every single time you say it, and then you try to take it back. It's certain things that I just feel like people should not say or people should not do, and then you have this life following you from your hometown, and then you're inserting it into your new relationship, and then you're telling me blatantly that you have had an encounter with a man. No, that's not playing games. That's not jokey. You were confessing. So, okay, the relationship continues. If you know anything about narcissists, they have this dark energy attached to them, and they love to project things back onto you. They love to confuse your thoughts. So many would say, well, if this person was telling you these things or, making these confessions, why did you not leave? Because he kept me in a confused state. He would say one thing, he would take it back, he would take me around the world, and he'll come back around again. On top of the fact, he did not give off, DL. He gave off a straight man, okay? And so let's just move forward in this. Around the end of the relationship, the marriage, this is when he officially took the mask off and made his official announcement, but he made sure no one was around. And so his whole thing was, I bet you cannot wait until I come out of the closet. And I'm like, wow. So this is your confession. And I can't say that I was hurt, because honestly, I was being told throughout the relationship, throughout the marriage. I had family trying to tell me, they was trying to find the best way to break it down to help me understand. He was constantly dropping little tabs trying to tell me, but clearly he was afraid to tell people. He comes from a religious background, and on top of the fact, I knew he was a narcissist, so they are very tricky, and you can't really hold on to anything that they say, because they will say any and everything to make you leave them if they're ready to go to new supply. But he was telling the truth. He was being honest in that moment. So after the marriage, I had to go through the healing process. I'm still going through the healing process of the discard and the bullying me out of the marriage so that he can go be with a whole new supply. And yes, I tried to warn her, but he hadn't got into her head. So you know how that go. But overall, I just never thought that I would be someone who would fall for a DL man. It was very hurtful, because I feel like I told him, everyone deserves a right to know what they're getting into. I have no issue with whatever a person chooses for their sexuality. That's your free will. But when you start taking a person's right to choose what they want, that's when it's wrong. And he was dead wrong. If you have gone through this, or you're currently going through this, or you suspect that your partner is doing this to you, using you as a cover girl to disguise their truth and hiding from the world, drop them in the comments. Let me know. I know I'm not the only person that's going through this or have been through this, but it took a lot of courage for me to pop out and just tell a part of my story. If you would like to hear more on this story, hey, let me know that as well, because this is a part of my healing, and I know it's also going to help someone else know that it's okay to tell your story, because this was your experience. And people have to realize, if they want people to say positive things about them, then they should give people a better experience. My name is Satara. God bless, and thank you for following me. Oh yeah, and to add, I'm truly thankful that God shielded and covered me in that marriage from any type of diseases, especially ones that you cannot get rid of. I know one thing that I definitely asked him in the end after the divorce was, aren't you afraid that you're going to catch something? And honestly, I wasn't expecting for him to say yes, but the fool said yes. And now this was after he made his official confession that basically he know that I couldn't wait for him to come out of the closet. So, I feel like at that point he didn't care, because he knew that no one would believe me, no ways. And this is really not about trying to prove anything to anyone. This is not about exposing anyone. Again, this is a part of my healing and, me getting free.